if you're someone who's been thinking about starting your own car rental business, but you just don't know what vehicle to start with, you hear people talk about luxuries like this Audi Q3 here, or you hear people talk about the basic, just the economy vehicles like the 2019 Honda Accord. So with inside this video, I want to break down some of the pros and cons of renting out each vehicle, and then also as well which vehicle that I think you should start with on your car rental journey. So let's just go ahead and get to it. So starting with this beautiful 2024 Audi Q3, the looks does it justice, right? So when we're just talking about the pros of this vehicle, I mean, it has everything from a nice sunroof to Apple CarPlay to leather seats to heated seats, sports mode, multiple different gears within inside the vehicle. It's a very enjoyable car. It's a very sleek vehicle. This vehicle is a little bit more of a, let's say, a miniature Suburban. It's not one of the big bulky vehicles that you're going to get when you talk about, the Audi Q8s, Q7s, and things of that nature. But it fits perfectly. It gives you enough room where you can have some kids in the back. As you guys can see, the trunk has a decent space. So if you, got you a nice little long road trip or whatever it may be, it gives you the ability to have that, right? So give you space and luxury at the same time. Another pro about this vehicle is just the amount that I can charge from this car compared to like a Honda. So this vehicle right here, let's say if I rent it out privately, I can rent this vehicle out for $200 a day, compared to the Honda where I only can rent it out for, $80, $60 a day, just depending upon the day and how long the client wants the car. So you get a nicer looking vehicle. It's going to attract more people. You can charge higher prices, and you have multiple ways to utilize this vehicle inside your fleet too as well. So let's just say, case in point, you have, somebody does a video shoot, or, you have a movie scene, something going on within your area. You actually can apply this vehicle onto a set and get paid from that too as well. You may be able to do the same thing with the Honda, but obviously an Audi is a little bit more visibly attracting than a regular economy vehicle. So those are just some of the pros when I talk about this vehicle. It looks great. It's going to catch attention. You can charge more. It's just a why not type of vehicle to have inside your fleet. Now moving on to some of the quote-unquote cons of this vehicle. This vehicle looks amazing, like I said. Apple CarPlay, leather seats. It's an amazing feel when you're in this car. It's just a clean feel driving this vehicle. But main thing is, if you do not know about Audi, a lot of different luxury vehicles, the maintenance. Okay, so on this vehicle, you're thinking about oil change. It's going to be around $180 to $200, just depending on where you go to get the oil change. And it burns oil pretty fast compared to an economy vehicle. So that's constant oil changes, brake changes. Them things can range from $500 to $1,500, once again, just depending upon where you're going. The tires, if something rips, paint scratches, if a light goes out, if a client hits side of the wheel, the base on the vehicle, that can be a lot more expensive. And you just have to do a lot more things to keep this vehicle up to date when it comes to the maintenance. So you're spending a lot more on a luxury type of vehicle compared to an economy vehicle just to make sure it is maintained. You understand what I'm saying? The second piece is insurance. Usually insurance on vehicles that range from this price point, this vehicle is about $40,000, $45,000. So the insurance is going to cost more as well than compared to a Honda that's only worth, 15, 20K max. So that is a huge piece. And then just lastly, it's more guest experiences when you're doing these type of vehicles, which is a very important thing to know too as well. So a vehicle like this, usually people don't get it no more than 2 days. Like on average, the longest somebody may keep this vehicle is 3 days. So I have to constantly meet these people every single day. And if not every day, every other day, just to get the car cleaned. I got to talk to a customer. I got to do a contract. It's a consistent thing over and over that I have to be hands-on in business day to day. Now, when you talk about Honda, and I'll get to that when I'm talking about deeply about the Honda, that's more on a weekly basis. So I talk to the client once a week and we just keep things going. So you're starting to already see on which one that I kind of would prefer you to get into, but that is just it. You're dealing with a lot more customers when you're dealing with a luxury vehicle because it's more of a day-to-day thing, and you want to make sure this thing is up to date. It's looking nice, it's looking clean for that next customer that you have getting your vehicle. Now moving on to the pros of this 2019 Honda Accord. And man, it's something about Hondas that it just attracts me to them. The maintenance, the gas mileage, especially their new updates now. This looks like a luxury vehicle. It's sleek, it's nice, it has Apple CarPlay and things of that nature too as well with inside the vehicle. So it's you kind of getting the best of both worlds. But just to talk about the maintenance, this vehicle right here, the parts are all over the US. You shouldn't have no problem getting parts for a Honda. Pretty much any dealership or any auto body shop should have the parts for your vehicle that you needed, compared to an Audi like this, where it's just not as commoditized as a Honda, right? They don't make as many units as they do for Hondas, as they do for Audi, which causes the parts to be delayed too as well. And the parts are cheaper. The oil changes are cheaper. Another great thing about this vehicle too as well, and I mentioned that when I was talking about the cons of the Audi, is I can rent this vehicle out for a weekly basis. So I rent this vehicle out for $400 to $450 a week, and you're seeing $1,600-$1,800 a month from this vehicle, and it is quote unquote passive. You still have to do things and making sure the maintenance is kept up on the vehicle and things of that nature, and that's something I can teach you guys about too as well, if you decide to book a call and get some coaching from me. But that's neither here nor there. But this vehicle is just great, man. Like I said, the gas mileage, the parts are easy to fix, and then also as well, I don't have to talk to this customer no more than one time a week, and that's usually just to keep getting the payments, or the client wants to come drop off the car and then I put somebody else back in the vehicle. That is it. So yeah, man, that is the pros of this vehicle. So when it comes to the cons of this vehicle, there's only two. I'm kind of pushing it when it comes to these cons anyway. The first one is just the looks of this vehicle. Obviously, you have a Honda, you have an Audi. Someone is going to be visibly attracted to the Audi more than a Honda, just naturally, right? Obviously, that's branding. That's how this vehicle looks. But like I was saying previously, Honda is doing very well with upgrading the exterior and interior of their vehicles. So it's kind of getting close, just depending on who's watching and who's actually looking at this vehicle. And secondly, the price. Once again, like I said in the beginning of the thing, I can charge $200 a day for this Audi, and it's no problem compared to this Honda. If I try to charge $200 a day, it's not happening, right? But then also, as well, I said the implications too on how to get that $200. It's constantly having to deal with clients every single day. You're moving and grooving compared to this Honda, and you can just talk to a client one time a week, and that is it. So it's just depending about your time, how much freedom that you want within this business. But literally, those are only the two cons that I could come up with when I talk about this 2019 Honda Accord. So as you guys can see, this Audi has pros, this Honda has pros, and both of them has cons too as well. But if you're someone who's just starting out, my recommendation is to go with an economy vehicle. Man, it is lower upfront cost. You don't have to deal with the customer as often. Your maintenance costs are pretty low. You can get in there and you can have a reliable vehicle that you know that's going to be rented out. I like to look at things at a high level, right? So when you think about companies like Enterprise, Hertz, Avis, some of the big car rental companies in the entire world, their foundational things are economy vehicles, because they understand people are going to need these cars. It's cheap to get into, so they don't have to break into a quote unquote rich market of people and really try to be day to day with these things, right? So it's very important that you build a foundation, and I believe your foundation should be built on economy vehicles. Now, like I said before, this is a 2019 Accord. The beautiful thing about private rentals is you can start with a 2010, buy a vehicle for $3,000 to $4,000 and rent it out for the same price that I would rent out this Honda Accord for, right? So it's just depending on where you're at financially. I know a lot of people don't have $4 or $5 grand to go buy at one time. So if you may need to finance the vehicle just to get the fleet going, that's completely understandable. But the only reason I would tell you to do something like this is just for marketing of your business. So let's just say I post a vehicle like this on my page, my car rental page, or wherever that I decide to advertise my vehicles. This is going to be like attracting, oh cool, he got Audis in his fleet too. So it gives you a little bit of versatility within the fleet. It attracts a different type of audience that you can now retarget to get into economy vehicles too as well. So it's pros and cons to each, like I said. But if you're just now getting started out, start with something like this. I don't know if you're going private or you're deciding to go on a platform like Turo, but if you want to go Turo, their requirements is you want to make sure the vehicle is I would say nothing older than 12 years than the current, year that we're currently in. And then also as well, the mileage, it can't be anything over 130,000 miles. So if you want to just kind of play that, simple, put it on a Turo platform and start there. That's great, especially if you can't find a commercial policy. But if you're working with me one-on-one, you'll definitely have the opportunity to, find a commercial policy that works best for you to go the private route, because I just feel like that's just the best route that you can go when getting started within the car rental space. So if this video helped, please let me know in the comments down below. Leave me a subscription, a like, a comment, and I can help you get started within the car rental business. Listen, when my first car was the 2016 Toyota Corolla. I'm gonna share this with y'all and I'll be done. And I was super scared at first. I hear people talking about, man, you should start with the Mercedes and all that. But I started with that 2016 Toyota Corolla. And as soon as I posted it, I had a buddy of mine renting it out for 3 months. And that just sparked me where I didn't have to touch the car. I was at home. I was still working my job, but getting that $350 a week coming in, it completely changed my mental frame about the car rental space, which led me getting over 20 plus vehicles inside my fleet. So just know it's possible. Don't think you got to start with something like this. Start slow, build that foundation. And if you want to add some luxury in your fleet, you can. If not, you can keep it economy. So just to sum this video up, if you're someone who's interested in starting your own car rental business and you want to do it the right way, not trying to do insurance fraud or trying to, hide from the system and do what everybody else has been talking about, that nonsense. If you actually want to build it the proper way that you can actually bring long-term value to an actual marketplace, I left a link down below, and that link is going to lead you to a video also as well on my YouTube page, and it's going to talk about the business model that I've created, who we're targeting, who we're actually going to be serving, and I actually walk you step by step down that process. So the link is down below. Just go ahead and watch it, and I hope the guys see you there, and we'll talk soon.